alleviated as necessary. What was at least what I want to emphasize is, as part of the ceasefire, our military assesses that we were at a point in the conflict where Pakistan had the military upper hand. And it was in that climate that we agreed to the ceasefire, with the understanding that there would be a conversation, to quote the Secretary of State's statement, on all friction points at a neutral location. So we believe it's incredibly important for us to achieve that aim. We understand that the Indian government's reaction has been less than positive about these developments. So we saw how quickly they moved away from using the term ceasefire, starting to use the term pause, how they've continued an escalatory and warmongering rhetoric. Their defense minister says that this was a trailer, the movie is yet to come. Their prime minister said that he has a special message to the youth of Pakistan, that eat bread or eat my bullet. Their foreign minister was here in Brussels, where they called my entire country terroristan, which means they do not distinguish between a terrorist and a civilian. In that climate, and I believe that Europe knows all too well, with the demonization of entire populations, the dehumanizations of entire communities, the escalatory rhetoric has meant in the past, and what is meant for you in the present. In that context, dialogue is important. Mediation, I think, would be the most productive, but bilaterally through a comprehensive dialogue that's not focused on any one, but all issues, we will certainly make more progress than we will by firing missiles and shooting each other's planes.
Thank you, sir. Butts up. After him.
Answer, trilateral or bilateral?
He never said trilateral or bilateral. In fact, he asked for mediation or bilateral dialogue, and I have answered that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can you let me? Sir, welcome to Brussels. I'm Mohammed Nasser, a Brussels City Police Advisor.
Okay.
We have some special police officers who they keep eyes on. Their job is just to keep eye on South Asia.
Sure.
And of course, especially right now on conflict between India and Pakistan. Well, we discussed with each other, and my officer's friend, they said, your army is doing well, but this person, Mr. Bilawal, is doing even better at the diplomatic front. He is the right person at the right time to convey the message of Pakistan to the rest of the world. Therefore, I ask my colleagues, friends, please clapping for
That's very kind of you, but सवाल क्या है? Question.
The question is, the day before yesterday,
I can hear you. It's all right.
did you get me?
Yeah, I can hear you. But what's the question?
Yeah, okay. So, day before yesterday, our defense minister, Khwaja Asif, was telling to Hamid Mir that if ever Israel attack on Iran, we will stand with Iran. And yesterday, Israel attack on Iran. So where we are standing?
Okay, thank you. It's very kind of you for your nice, lovely words. I believe that the leadership in Pakistan, that of the Prime Minister, the President, and the armed forces, have conducted themselves outstandingly throughout this process. As far as this mission that the Prime Minister sent us on, as you can see, I have the most capable team in the history of Pakistani diplomacy. I don't think ever this many foreign ministers and foreign secretaries have gathered at the same place. And ultimately, the case that we are advocating for is one of truth, is one of justice, is one of peace. So it has been particularly encouraging, the reception we've had to that message. Your question about Israel strikes on Iran, absolutely. Look, Pakistan's border is on the one side with Afghanistan. We suffered Afghan 1 blowback. Now we're suffering Afghan 2 blowback that at the moment is confined for us, but heaven forbid that it affects other countries. The other border where we almost we were engaged in a full-blown conflict that could have led to a nuclear war is India. Then the other country is Iran. We certainly don't want war on this border. Pakistan has condemned the strikes that took place over the last couple of days at our neighboring country. And we will continue to advocate for peace on all our borders, be it with Afghanistan, be it with Iran, be it with India. We absolutely cannot afford this conflict to turn into Iraq 2.0 or World War III. And it has become far too easy for this to be having a war every month. What is wrong with this generation? You were supposed to protect us from the scourge of war through dialogue and diplomacy, and it has become the default setting. Whenever there's a conflict, whenever there's a dispute, to launch into full-scale war. And it is far easier for older generations to make these decisions, to start these conflicts. But it's my generation that's going to have to pick up the pieces. I absolutely call on the international community to play their role to immediately impose a ceasefire in this Iranian conflict with the occupying forces in Palestine. We cannot have perpetual war. It serves none of our interests. Finally, you're working in the police over here. But I want to speak to you in that context. That Pakistan and Europe, Pakistan and the UK, Pakistan and the United States, we have cooperation on counter-terrorism. We have coordination on counter-terrorism. We have intelligence sharing to deal with counter-terrorism, and we've done this from before also, but particularly 2001 onwards. That relationship, that CT cooperation has become so effective that on both sides we've managed to work together to thwart terrorist attacks. Terrorism knows no borders, it knows no race, it knows no religion. It is a menace for all of us. But we've managed to cooperate. And based on intelligence sharing, thwart terrorist attacks in the United States, thwart terrorist attacks in Europe, and thwart terrorist attacks in Pakistan. Would you believe there's no coordination, no cooperation between India and Pakistan on combating terrorism? 2012 was the last time we had a comprehensive dialogue in which there was some cooperation on CT. 2019, there was the last attack which led to planes in the sky. Between that date and this date, we've had no conversation. I ask you as an expert, someone who deals with terrorism, is this a viable situation? Or will we be able to more effectively combat terror if India and Pakistan sat together and coordinated, conducted intelligence sharing? We would be able to develop, just as the United States general said before their Houses of Parliament or their Congress 2 days ago, 3 days ago now, that we have a phenomenal partnership with Pakistan on counter-terrorism. We can develop that phenomenal partnership with India as well.
Thank you, sir. So I just want to add, the Foreign Minister of Belgium publicly admit that and appreciate and thanks to the government of Pakistan for fighting against terrorism.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your answer. Thank you.
Bhatt sahab.
Yeah, I am Abdullatif Bhatt, founder of the Kashmir Watch Media Initiative.
Founder of the Kashmir kya?
Kashmir Watch is a blog.
Kashmir Watch.
On behalf of the Kashmiri people, I appreciate your efforts in raising the issue of Kashmir from London, from Washington to London, and now in Europe. Given the ongoing repression and media blackout in Indian administered Kashmir since August 2019, what concrete diplomatic or multilateral steps will your party or Pakistan's next foreign policy leadership take to revive global attention, especially in Europe? And during your Brussels visit, did you engage with the European human rights or civil society groups concerned with the freedom of expression and digital repression in Kashmir? Thank you.
First of all, thank you for your question. Thank you for your work, for drawing the international community's plight, drawing the international community's attention to the plight of the people in Kashmir. We believe that as a result of this conflict, every crisis has produced an opportunity. And in this crisis, the opportunity has been that we've been able to highlight the importance of resolving the issue of Kashmir. We've shattered the myth of the Indian government that Kashmir is an internal issue. The Kashmiri cause is internationalized. the President of the United States, just a couple of days ago, continued to advocate for mediation to resolve the Kashmir conflict. At the very least, India has changed their position from this being an internal issue of India to a bilateral issue between India and Pakistan. So that is immense progress as far as the Kashmir cause is concerned. We want to see the resolution of this cause for two reasons. One is our historic position, that it is our promise of the international community, of the people of India, the people of Pakistan, to the people of Kashmir, that they have the right to the self-determination under the UN Security Council resolutions, and we continue to advocate that point. But particularly post-2019, the Indian government's increased suppression and oppression within Indian-occupied Kashmir is creating a situation where the local population is getting alienated, is getting frustrated, is getting repressed, so much so that it creates such an environment that then the local population becomes easy prey for terrorist organizations who will use them, exploit them as cannon fodder for their nefarious designs. And now, particularly because Pakistan is to be held responsible even for the actions of indigenous terrorism, it's all the more important that we sit and discuss, resolve the issue of Kashmir, even if you, obviously Pakistan has a broader agenda, but above and beyond that, or if the Kashmir has a broader agenda, even if your narrow view is that of terrorism, you can no longer ignore the issue of Kashmir.
Please open the mics.
I will just add here that Pakistan condemns and expects the international community